Hi, welcome to Holy Prepared. With this video, I feel like I need to give an overview of the realm in which you find yourself and some of the rules that happen to be here that maybe people don't understand. I thought they would by now, but there's a lot of talk that's very all over the place with this stuff. I'm not sure when it happened, but before Adam and Eve, there was a fall of Lucifer. And Lucifer took with him a third of the host of heaven, so the population of heaven, basically. Okay, that include all classes of angels, because all there was angels then. So at that time period, something happened to Earth. Earth existed before Genesis. Okay, that's something that people need to understand. Whatever happened when the war in heaven happened with Lucifer, the earth took a big hit, okay? Because when we start in Genesis, the earth was, but it was without form and void. So it was decimated. The earth has always been like a big thing, and I don't know why. I mean, we'll find out later. But so then when we enter the stage, okay, we are given this realm to learn in, to become. So we're basically demigods, for lack of a better word. It's a bad word, but it's a good example of what we are when we were created before we fell, okay? And basically we're supposed to become his children in every way and learn to rule with him in every way. And the only way we could do that, is learning to rule a realm, which would have been Earth. And that was what the whole purpose of the garden and everything was for. And when Lucifer lied and said, the things he said, he deceived Eve, and then Eve encouraged eating the apple to Adam. It's when Adam did that is when humanity fell. It was a corporate thing, okay? When Eve ate the apple, that didn't cause the fall. It was Adam. It came through Adam. She was an offshoot of Adam, but it was Adam that created the fall. Okay, so then, and it wasn't just he was attached to this realm, this whole area, because he was lord of this realm. Okay, so this realm fell altogether, not just Adam, but the whole thing fell. So we're in a corrupted, and I mean computer, like a computer corruption, that type of corruption matrix. It's a construct. It was a construct for us to learn on, and the construct fell. Now, originally, okay, before the fall, we were basically touching eternity. We were part of eternity. Adam and Eve were immortal. I don't know how much time was in between these things. There's no indication of that. So it could have been a very, very, very long time. However, there were other species on the earth, and that's something that people don't understand. What happened whenever Adam and Eve's children went, and then the boy went to go seek a wife. He went to the city, and they're like, "What city? How could you have a city when it was just Adam and Eve?" Okay, so there were creatures, humanoid creatures, on the earth prior to Adam and Eve. Okay, this is Adam and Eve's story was to rule over the earth, including the people, or I should say humanoids of the earth. These humanoids provided the multiple DNA that helps us in our bodies, become stronger, more, healthier. You know what I'm saying? Because when you mix DNAs and things like that, it becomes stronger and healthier. So they provided that rich DNA. But when we have children, okay, our children was born 3 in 1. The reason that we are the thing that makes us created after God, that makes us look like God, or the image of God, as he put it, is that we're 3 in 1. We're body, soul, and spirit. So that's like God. And we're the only creatures in the universe, in all universes, whatever you want to say, however far you want to take it, we're the only ones that are created like that. And that's why we're special. And that's why we're hated. Okay, so they don't like that. Okay, first off, they were at war with God. That hasn't stopped. And so then God creates his children. Well, what's a better way to get at God? Get at his children. I mean, it just, it goes on and on. So, and then of course they didn't like, for some reason, this whole earth thing. It was like a big contention that we were given not just rule, but rule over earth. That really pissed them off. And they're still pissed off to this day. Okay. When Jesus sacrificed himself in order to put us straight again, he let it not be corporate. In other words, it's not like one person can make a decision for the rest of us. We each unto ourselves have that ability now to make that decision for ourselves, whether or not we rise or fall, whether or not we go to heaven or not. It's all within our own decision-making process. We can't blame one person anymore. One man had us fall, one man brought us out of the fall. That was the whole plan. Once Adam fell, the plan became enacted to save us. And so that right now, that's where things stand. There's also been another incursion since Lucifer's, okay? And that's what people don't understand. There is no such thing as Satan. This is not one person. It's really Hasatan. Oh, I hate this. My makeup's messed up. Anyway, Hasatan, okay, is a corporate thing. It's the corporate of evil, okay? So when you talk about Satan, you're just basically saying in a generality, it's all of them. It's all the demons. It's all the fallen angels, because there was a fallen angel incursion in Genesis 6. And this is the one that's talked about like the most from a lot of people lately because of the DNA problems with the synthetic mRNA technology. Okay, because this is how it's like the days of Noah. This is how it all fits in together. When they fell, there were 200. They were called Watchers, and they were originally, because we were basically babes, but yet we were lords of the earth, and so we were supposed to learn how to rule in this realm, like I told you. Well, there were a class of angels called Watchers sent down to us in order to help us do that endeavor, and they were supposed to guide us, kind of like like Miyagi or something. You know what I mean? They weren't supposed to really teach us. They were supposed to make sure that we stay on on the guiding areas, so that we're learning and staying on the path of what God wanted us to learn. Well, they fell. They decided they weren't going to do that. Something about our women, I don't know, but I think part of it was they were influenced by Lucifer and his class of his angels prior. They were influenced and decided that they wanted to also, do that. When an angel falls, and I have reason to think that it could still happen today. Not that they do, but I think technically it could still even happen today, because they can become, okay, first off, God explained to me they're made out of light, okay, but they can become physical, and we know this from miracles and things that people have seen them, okay, and they don't have wings. Our class of angels don't have wings. They're messengers, and they don't have wings. They look exactly like us. So when they become physical and they fall, they stay in a physical form. Their genetics are supercharged, though. It's almost like a superhero, kind of like suddenly becoming human, but they still got some of that superhero stuff, which is why when they mated with women here, humans, they created all these crazy creatures and stuff. The giants were the first, and they had all these supernatural type powers, and they were strong, and all this stuff was about them. And you can hear this, our myths, the myths that you hear all this stuff about, that's all real. They aren't myths at all. That really happened, and that's because of them falling. And when they fell, they had all this knowledge. Like each angel had a classification of knowledge, like metalworking or just all kinds of different types of knowledge, physics, about this realm. And instead of them being just a guiding factor, they went ahead and threw all that knowledge at humanity. So it just became one full-blown chaos of evil, total evil. They everything that was learned and taught was taught in such a way to use it for very physical, lowbrow reasons, and so they ended up changing the DNA, not just of humanity because of having mated with the women, but they encouraged scientific research when it came to animals and plants and changing all them around. It was horrible. It was horrible, and everything that was created that was against the matrix, which all this is all against the matrix. Okay, the way this was set in motion for us to learn, it was all corrupt. In the same way that I'm saying, as a program is corrupted, this is exactly what we're discussing here. Because this isn't the way people say we're in a simulation. That's not wrong. This was meant to be like a learning area for us. So it was a construct, but it was an eternal. It was a good construct until it fell. Okay, so everything turned evil. And that's what happens and that's why God called it abomination. He's not calling names. He's explaining what it is. It is an abomination. It's against the creation and how it was meant to go, and how it was the matrix of it was meant to go. So when things get twisted like that, the things that are created out of it become evil. They become not good. The matrix was meant for good, and when it twists against it, these things they're the horrible creatures. Everything was like that, and the DNA of every creature was messed up in Noah's time. God had a decision to make. Should he just wipe everything out and maybe start over, or should he save, go ahead and when it's down to the last pure genetics, which is what Noah was. It wasn't that he was a good man. I mean, he wasn't a bad man, but he wasn't, like holy and all this stuff and perfect in that way. He knew God, he understood God, but he was not anything real special. What made him different was that he was the last human, and I think so as his family, the last humans that had pure DNA. They had not been manipulated in any way. That is what made him set for salvation in the physical way. And we are children of that thing, that salvation. So God got rid of most of everything in the realm that was corrupted. However, there was a lot left. So the people that talk about in the Bible how God had everybody killing all these, doing genocide. No, genocide is only on humanity. Realize that the people that were left, and there were some left, it says that in Genesis 6, even after that, okay, after the flood, there were some left. They managed to hide or whatever. The children of Israel were asked to get rid of them when they came upon them. And so, yes, they had to, and that's why they always said to kill not just every last man, woman, and child of that species, and it is a species, but also their cattle, because they were still doing it. They were still manipulating the DNA. They were corrupting the DNA. And so they had to get rid of all of them. And they were evil. And they were not human. And they also wanted to get rid of humans. So it was them or us. So there's a lot of things going on at that time. And people who read the Bible who don't have context, who don't understand what's actually going on in all the realms that's affecting this realm, think that it was genocide against humans is stupid. Of course it would not be. God would never do that. It's ridiculous. So yes, he was just basically saying clean out the creatures, these animals. They were animals, for lack of a better word, that were just corrupt. They were evil. So you got to understand that there is a rule. There is a hard and fast rule, okay? And one of that is that the only way that Satan, and I mean Satan, that includes all the watchers, that includes all demons, by the way, are the children of the watchers, and when they died, okay? When they passed, they had nowhere to go. They're still here. And they still hate us because their parents hate us. So they're part human, and because they're part human, they still have, like a spirit. So the spirit remains here. And that's what demons are. That's where they come from. Is they're the children that passed of the Watchers. And that was a curse on them as well. That they were going to see God said they were going to see their children pass, as just like they made his children hurt. So it was like a double whammy there. So that's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with demons. It's just children of the Watchers that fell. It's children of the Lucifer, the ones, the classes of angels that mated. Anyway, so the rule is the same rule that started with the garden, okay, is deception. Satan has to get your permission to do anything. Yeah. He has to get your permission to accomplish what he does. And that's not just it's also corporate level. It's also, okay, so the reason, and I'm sure a lot of people always wonder how come they tell us what they're doing. Like there's this huge episode in X-Files that like basically goes into like everything that's going on right now. Why is that? Why do they do that? Why do they put that in media? Why do they admit things? Because, well, first off, they have to have our understanding that that's what they're doing. They do. And they hide it. They hide it as best they can, but it's part of the rules. Because we are the lords of this realm again. Jesus got that back. So in order for them to accomplish anything, they have to deceive us. But they have to make sure, because we're lords of this realm, see, they're informing us as well. You see what I'm saying? They have rules they have to follow. This is weird, but it's true. And so basically they inform us, and then they try to lie to us. Now, a good example of that, and I've got a couple of videos on this now, or several, is the vaccine. Because the vaccine, whether you believe it or not, is irrelevant. Do your research. The synthetic, and it has to be synthetic, mRNA does affect your DNA. But they had to get your permission. So how did they get your permission? They scared the crap out of you. Made you think that there was this disease that actually you wouldn't survive or something, which is, absolutely, again, no research. I guess you didn't know, whatever. The news was just inundating you with fear so that you could take it, so that they could begin the process of changing your DNA. Now, why do they want to do that? Same thing as in the days of Noah. Why did they want to do that? Because that gives them, think about it, we are lords of this realm. If we become their children, again, then they become lords of this realm through us. It's the same old thing. It's just, and it's through deception. They're hating on God. They're hurting God. It's the same. Nothing's changed. Nothing new under the sun. That's in the Bible, and that's a fact. It's just playing out again, and God's only going to let this happen this time. He's done. It's happened once already. He bought everything back. He's not going to let it go again. This is the last time. These are the last days. As in the days of Noah, that will be the last days, and we are there. It is beginning. If they make transhumans, you got to understand, and I've explained this, and people don't like it. Whether you like it or not, again, doesn't change that fact that Jesus came to save humans. Humans. If you are not in your body, in a human body, Jesus doesn't save you. You are disqualified. Simple as that. You're disqualified. Now, again, we can contend about how much your DNA has changed, whether it's a percentage point, like more than 50%, which I am hoping that's what it is, so that the first shot, if your shot contains synthetic DNA, not all of them did, okay? 1/3 only did. But if your shot did, that hopefully you weren't changed and you didn't become, you aren't so corrupted under God that you are now disqualified for salvation altogether. I'm hoping that's not true. I'm hoping that you can take one shot and repent and say, okay, I'm not going to do any more. And so you won't have so much DNA change that you no longer qualify for salvation. But I'm telling you that you can change your DNA to a point where you no longer qualify for Jesus' salvation. You are now owned by the corporation with which you have been changed. That's already been talked about in the Supreme Court, and in 2015 they talked about it as well, very clearly. Okay, so you got to understand there are rules. Like I said, there are rules to this realm, and Jesus, God said, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge," and I'm trying to get that knowledge out there. I have been given a sense of urgency to get the teachings out that God has shown me. Everything that I'm talking about to you can be found in the original 81 books of the Bible. There's a Bible that's being put out now called the Cepher, C-E-P-H-E-R. It includes every book and all the books that were taken apart, because Martin Luther took a couple of books just apart, just took parts out he didn't like. But it includes all the books that were there when the disciples had all the books, and Paul and all them. So they're all together in the Cepher Bible. It's very expensive, but if you want to have everything in one place, that's the one to get. Otherwise, just collect them, as you go. You can go to Amazon, check the Cepher Bible, and see all the ones that are in there. That's the original Bible, and everything I'm telling you is in there. Everything. And it, also in the cut down Bible as well. Most of this is what I'm telling you. Don't be ignorant anymore. If you are a Christian, it's time to get real. It's time to get real and get that knowledge. I'm telling you this because I really feel this sense of urgency that has to happen. You have to understand this. It's important to get this knowledge and to understand where you are and what our realm is and what we're supposed to be doing in it. Okay? All right. God bless.